We're back again and talking about AWS Iam Identity and Access Management. Now, in the last video, we set up a user role which can now log into AWS and access our network, but there were two other areas we were going to need to manage temporary credentials to make API calls. That was between our application hosted on EC2 in Amazon DynamoDB, and again from our application to S3. So let's jump in and get those set up. I'm here at the IAM dashboard. We're going to go ahead and select roles, create role. Next, we'll select the trusted entity type. It can either be AWS service, which in our case, it's going to be an EC2 instance. It can also be a Lambda function or other functions assuming roles to make API calls. The other options are AWS account, Web ID, which allows federated users to assume a role. SAML, so if your company has a corporate directory using SAML, you can use this as a trusted entity type, or you could create a custom trust policy. For use case, we're going to select EC2, and then click Next. All right, next we'll set the policies here. First, let's search the S3 policy, and then we're going to select this full access. But just to elaborate on this a little bit, this is really not a best policy what we're doing right now. We're just doing it for example purposes. In the kind of reality, you would want to write this policy specific for the API call that you're going to be making. So if we expand a little bit on this, and we could see the JSON code below it, and this will show what we're allowing here. So the effect is either allow or deny. So in our case, it's allow. The action, which API calls are allowed, S3, and then there's a little star here. So what the star shows is it's allowing everything. It's a wild card. So the star is really kind of not ideal here. This allows access to making any API call, and then to any resource. So we have resource set as star as well. So we'll select this for now, but in the future, if we're really designing an app, we're only going to limit this, or we're going to limit this a little bit to only make API calls that we want it to. All right, so we're good there. We have that one selected, and then we'll select the DynamoDB, full access. Next, name this role. Okay, and then we'll just kind of do a quick review. We have the trust policy here, effect allow, action, what API call is going to be allowed, STS assume role, and then what service is it going to be allowed on, ec2.amazonaws.com. And then we have our permissions, so Amazon DynamoDB full access, and then Amazon S3 full access. Looks good. We're going to go ahead and create that role. And that's it. We're done. Catch you on the next one.